So this video continues our journey of looking at different arguments for God. The ontological argument focuses on God being a maximally great being. If there was a being greater than God, then the latter wouldn't actually be God. A maximally great being must be all-knowing, all-powerful, and morally perfect. So with that cleared up, let's get it going. Here's the ontological argument. Premise 1. It's possible that a maximally great being exists. Premise 2. A maximally great being exists in some possible world. Premise 3. If a maximally great being exists in some possible world, then it exists in every possible world. Premise 4. If a maximally great being exists in every possible world, then it exists in the actual world. Premise 5. A maximally great being exists in the actual world. In the conclusion, therefore, a maximally great being exists. So let's go and let's break this down premise by premise. First, the first premise. It says that it's possible that a maximally great being exists. Most of the premises make sense going through them, but this is the one that will receive the most contention from atheists. The problem for the skeptic is that a maximally great being is not logically incoherent. It is not the same thing as a squared circle or a married bachelor. Either of those could not exist in any possible world. But a maximally great being is a coherent idea, so we can say that it is possible. The second premise says that a maximally great being exists in some possible world. So this comes to the idea of possibility. Possible worlds are worlds that could exist. A unicorn could possibly exist. So there is a possible world in which unicorns exist. To the contrary, it's impossible that a married bachelor could exist. A married bachelor cannot exist in any possible world. So if we can say that it is possible that a maximally great being exists, it's fair to say that in some possible world, a maximally great being exists. So this moves on to the third premise, which says if a maximally great being exists in some possible world, then it exists in every possible world. This is because if a maximally great being existed in only one possible world, it would not be a maximally great being. Therefore, a maximally great being must exist in every possible world, or it would not be maximally great. The next premise says that if a maximally great being exists in every possible world, then it exists in the actual world. This follows because if a maximally great being exists in every possible world, then it would exist in the actual world that we live in, because we are just in a world of one of many possible worlds. The next premise says a maximally great being exists in the actual world. This premise follows from the other premises that a maximally great being exists in the actual world, and we get to our conclusion, therefore a maximally great being exists. If a maximally great being exists in the actual world, then it exists. So that's it. The ontological argument. Therefore, God exists. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. I'll see you next time. Remember, big questions need good answers.